Wealth Principle 40, Keystone Habits. Coaches, let's go around and speak to our coaches, identify what their major takeaway is for this wealth principle, starting with Terry, since you're speaking, you're up.
I like this topic because what we're really talking about is systems. And when we really understand that everything is a system, that when you really pay attention to the flow of how work goes and the flow of what you do, whether it's a mechanical system, whether it's a financial system, whether it's a human system, there's always a flow and a process to everything. And as long as you honor those systems, they're going to produce what you're looking for. The big problem is we think that everything is chaos because we create chaos as a system as well. And then we end up whacking moles, we end up putting out fires, and we end up running around in circles instead of being very efficient with what we're doing. When we focus on the system, when we focus on the routine or habit, and we make sure that we're doing it the same every time, we get better and better and better at it. And so I find that this is, like Walter said, a keystone principle with which every person can really up level their game no matter where they're at. If they're in the beginning, if they're in the middle, or if they're at a place where they want to start looking at selling their company, or they're selling their investments, start to really pay attention to where you're not routine and build a routine into it.
I like that. Let's give Dr. Terry Wager a round of applause. That is a phenomenal way of looking at things. Who else? Dorina, are you able to speak? I know you're out in New York this week. It's been a lonely week in the house, although I've freaking loved it. I've been hanging out, reading books. Go ahead, Dorina.
Good morning. Yes, if you habits, very powerful word, and I would say to get the habit going, and then we all know what good habits are and what not good habits are. Like we're crystal clear on that. What's good, what's not good, and it's just a matter of dedication to forming the habit. If you can remind yourself every morning what habits you're about to accomplish or repeat or do it again, like maybe you have posters, like Brenda Shine gave me a bunch of little sticky notes in the kitchen to make sure I smile, make sure I watch my words, make sure I love myself, love everyone around me. It's a habit too, right? It's a reminder. So what else can you put something around yourself, around your house, around your community to remind yourself about good habit? And then once you push through forming through the time forming the habit, you can actually forget about it, because they say habit, it's just a discipline at the beginning, and then it's just a way of life. So find something that can help you to remind to form that good habit, because to identify the habit is pretty easy. Just to maintain it, that it becomes a part of your life, that's the work. So that's my takeaway. I know my good habits, and I plan to put reminders, vision boards, and something in the house that can help form it strongly, and that it will be just with us, and then we'll see results in compound effect later on.
Let's give Dorina Pagodina a round of applause. What Dorina's talking about with the vision is I told her something. Who'd like a little sneak peek into our relationship, how this whole thing works. So when I told Dorina, she said, what am I supposed to do this year? What should I aim at? What should I do? And I told her two things. I was like, one, keep me focused, keep me happy. We know that if you do that, all the money comes through. We get all the vacations, we get all the people we want, we get whatever we want. Like, keep me focused, keep me happy. And she's like, okay, that seems really easy. I was like, well, we'll see. But she's like, how do I do it? I said, man, like if you can get the house to have the vision of what we're looking to do this year, right? Like, who would like to know what our goal is this year? What the one thing is, such that by doing it, everything else is easier or unnecessary. 1,000 people in the summit. I get 1,000 people in the summit. That's 1,000 people signing the millionaire contract. That's 1,000 people. That's literally 10 times more than I did this year. and it brings me all the deals, brings me all the money, brings me the opportunities to invest in other people's businesses, gives me everything I'm looking for. Does that make sense? And then we charge tickets, so I'll make money from sales and things. So it makes all the sense for everything else that I do is to just do that one thing. Which, by the way, if you have a pulse and a desire to be a millionaire or a desire to give back and help other millionaires, I want to see you back at the event. I want to see you bringing 10 other people with you, because all we'd have to do is bring 10 people with us back to the event. Some of you may see that as a challenge. Some of you may see that as an opportunity. For everybody who takes it on, thank you so much. I bless each one of you. And I looked at it, I said, babe, all we got to do is this one thing, right? If we focus on this one thing, it's a high leverage point. Hands to camera, if you know your business has a thing like that. There is, for each one of you, there is a thing like that. And for many of you, it could be the 100 Millionaires Summit. Like that literally could just get myself back into that room. Who made money at the summit? Who made partnerships? Who did deals? Yeah. How cool is that, huh? I got all these texts. Wow, I can't believe this. It was insane. Like literally all week. It was just this guy that was there. And I know everybody, right? I knew every person that was there, and they didn't know each other. But at the summit, just the things that people would say when somebody got the microphone, suddenly now that there's a group around them, they want to know about that story. They want to know about that person, what they're doing. So the summit was so valuable to anybody who was willing to speak up, anybody who was willing to say something, and anybody who was listening. So there's a keystone habit in your business right now, and it may not be as hard or as much of a grind. Who's ever had the issue of motivation? Ever had the issue of motivation? Yeah, when you're doing something that you absolutely love and are excited about, the motivation is no big deal. You just wake up and you just go do. There is something I do want to talk about coming up. I know this is the coach's time. I'm coming back to you guys. Don't you worry. There is a crypto call that Mitch is doing. It's part of Alchemist Mastery. So if you already paid for Mastery at the summit, awesome. Congratulations. You get this call for free. If you didn't get a chance to join Alchemist Mastery and you want to just buy it as a one-off, just a la carte is what they say in the restaurant business, you can actually still buy into this event. It is the 15th, right, Mitch? And on the 15th, Mitch is going to be going into why crypto in a deeper format, how to understand this thing, what's coming, what the challenges are, what the opportunities are. And if you don't know, every real estate investor that I know is invested in crypto. All the players anyway, the guys who've been playing, the guys who've had assets, who have extra cash sitting, they're all in crypto. They're all making money and they're all very happy about it. And that's something to be aware of. If you're a real estate investor, you need to understand how crypto technology works, how the currencies are working, how to invest in it, what to do and what not to do. And Mitch is going to be doing a series of trainings, but this one is Keystone. Be there or be square. He actually dropped it in the chat. So Mitch, before I mess up on the description of this thing, what is your take on Keystone Habit?
This is the power of networking. I was at last night, my buddy's 40th birthday party, a real estate investor buddy I met 5 years ago at a networking event, and we started to meet up together. So everything Walter's saying about the networking and all the partnerships that happened at the summit, true story. So if you weren't there, sorry, not sorry. Like, get it right next year. Yeah. So as far as crypto, though, I mean, Keystone Habit, I think really it's just, with real estate, we did the same things. Like, you got to understand the fundamentals. How do I analyze a deal? Right. So I think just knowing that with crypto is kind of like that keystone principle. It's just like, all right, how do I look at a cryptocurrency and know A, it's not a scam, B, it's something that, has a use case, like it has some type of catalyst behind why it will grow, just like you would with any other kind of business investment. So I think those two principles is really what you want to focus on when it comes to crypto. Don't get me wrong, there's 1,000 more things, but just those two things alone, I think, lets you invest in crypto with some confidence and get exposure to it, because we're at the point now where, in my opinion, not financial advice, everyone should have a piece of their overall investment portfolio in cryptocurrency. And even if it's just the speculative portion, just like you might do with like some high flying tech stocks, well, instead maybe replace some of those with some crypto. But again, have those one or two basic principles so you at least know what you're looking at. And that's, a lot of what we're going to get into on the workshop, along with, why, like, Walter said, why crypto, because why do I want to invest in this anyway? What's the motivating factor? How do I know it's a investment that has some potential? So, and those reasons are a layup. So please ask me that question at the workshop. Like, bring it. I'm excited to answer that. So November 15th, 6 p.m. All the Alchemist Mastery folks, can't wait to see you there. And if you're not part of that program, then you got to buy your way in.
Let's give Mitch Jorsky a round of applause. Yes, we gave an amazing deal at the event. So if you're looking for that deal and you haven't already had a conversation with Darina or one of the coaches, I apologize. When I said we will only sell at that price one time ever, I meant it. Hence the camp, I do what I say what I mean, I say what I do. Like, I don't fuck around when it comes to price of things. I don't mess around when I set up a contract with somebody. So next year will be a little bit more, but we will probably offer a discount at the summit from the normal price. But if you want things this year, by the way, speed to action, I got a whole new brand coming out. It's called Fast. Who wants to know what Fast stands for? Awesome. So Fast stands for focus, action. The S, oh, hold on. I can't remember what the S stood for. I got it sitting right here.
No.
Yeah. No, it's still new to me. The S stood for speed. Obviously, I'm always talking about speed, fast and speed, and tribe. It takes the people around you to get to where you want to go. If you want to move fast, you've got to know speed is the point. Anybody who says success, life is not a race, they're lying to you. They are lying to you. Because if you make $1 million over 40 years, guess what that makes you? Broke. That's minimum wage. And if you make success like $1 million over 20 years, that makes you average. That's a $40,000, $50,000 wage. If you make $1 million over 10 years, that makes you a high income earner, unless you're in California, that makes you average. And if you make $1 million over 5 years, that makes you an extremely high income earner. If you make $1 million over 2 years, it puts you in the 1%. And if you make $1 million in 1 year, that puts you in a fraction of the 1%. We get how this works, right? So, speed is the only thing that changed. Speed to action means greater levels of success, greater levels of life. So speed is important. So anybody says it's not a race, they don't actually know how the game is played. It is about speed to action. So you got to move fast with focus, with action, with speed, and with tribe. I'm still working on memorizing this thing, but I love it. I love the acronym. So we've got something coming up. It's called Master of Influence. Who knows the new currency is attention? Who knows that if I make a post online right now, money flows into my account? That's how it works. So when I make a post about an event, if I make a post about me looking for a deal, I got to be careful with these, right? Anything I type on Facebook or on Instagram, if I post it, suddenly my inbox is flooded with whatever I was looking for. Who knows? That's how you manifest on hyperspeed, hyperdrive. All right. So attention is the new currency. And if you want more attention, you need to learn influence. You need to learn how to influence others. So we've got an event coming up that if you're in mastery, you already know about it. You're already involved. And if you don't know about it, we're still selling a la carte. We are adding an extra 10 spots to the room. By the way, there is that limit for a logical reason. The rooms cost us money to book, and we're not going to book anything beyond what this event takes a certain size, right? If we have more than 40 in the room, we already have 30 registered. If we have more than 40 people in the room, then it won't be as effective. This is Master of Influence. It's very much engaging where you're working with other people. Hence, if you understand that it kind of has to be done in a small fashion. Excellent. Very intimate. So Master of Influence is taught by Doug McGurk. He is the king of influence, knows how to speak, knows how to talk, knows how to get words out so that people listen and then do the implied action. We call it positive persuasion. Positive persuasion. We do require that anybody who does register for Masters of Influence is ethical, moral, and does things legally. Because as you can imagine, these tools of influence are very dangerous in the wrong hands. Hands to camera if you recognize that that's the truth. We got to be very careful to people who learn this stuff. I will also be at the event and I will be talking about social influence, social media, how to get others to like, how to get others to share, how to get others to post, how to get people following you so that when you do say or do something, you get an immediate reaction. How to build community. Hands to camera if you recognize that this tribe around us is pretty damn powerful. It's pretty amazing people right now on the call. Absolutely. There's a level of skill that comes to influencing at this level, and it is learnable. Thank God it is learnable. Thank God all of this is learnable. You can get to the next level because you can just show up and be around the right people. Focus on what you want, surround yourself with what you want, and you will eventually become what you wanted. Doug McGurk, what is your take on the three or the key principles? Not these three, just whatever you want to discuss on key principles.
Thank you. So, obviously, tons of brilliance here. There's so much to unpack in all this, and everyone hit on amazing stuff. One of the things we also want to start backing into is the little habits. Those little habits or rituals or routines. We all have different language around them, and that in it of itself is a habit. So we want to look at, or a ritual routine, we want to look at what are we even thinking, the little thoughts that are to quote, Terry, your own bad advice. Sometimes your own bad advice is this habitual thought, this little voice inside your head that seems innocuous, that actually wants what's best for you, and you know that. So then you start having this challenge around what we habitually focus on. What is the language we habitually use? Walter, just talked earlier about should and then need and can't and try and all of those little things that pass us by. And we also need to remember that nature abhors a vacuum. So to Darina's point, once we identify it, well, just removing it or addressing it is not enough, because we need to, and yes, we do need to replace it consciously with a routine or habit that is supportive. Like, as an example, we all know people who have quit smoking and then they gain 20 or 30 pounds. Why? Because they replaced that pattern of smoking. They fulfilled the need that smoking was fulfilling with a non-resourceful pattern, such as eating Oreos, sucking on lollipops, whatever that may be. So when it comes to catching it, we want to run that pattern ritualistically, catch ourselves sooner in that process, and then future pace. And to what Terry's point is about those systems, is what system do I need to put into place that is going to support my achieving of my desired outcome? And again, it's sometimes those little things that make the biggest difference. So we just want to be aware of that. And that's what influence is. Here's the other thing, and this is where we'll get into it at Masters of Influence, is influencing those little things, building the relationship, and then moving the momentum, helping people take action, create movement and momentum. And sometimes it's just that little shift, and then the next one, and then the next one. And that's how you and I have ever experienced. How many have ever experienced, like, you end of a conversation and you're like, how did that just happen? How did they just get me to take that action or do that? And it's because it was just conversational, little steps. It wasn't forcing you. It wasn't steamrolling you. It was just shifts in conversation with your, and this is where Walter talked about moral, ethically, and legally, that the other thing we're going to be focused on is being sure this is where intentions do matter, that we are genuinely and authentically wanting what's best for the client, that it's a win-win-win-win, so we can, with certainty, with confidence, take on whatever objections and resistance and help them achieve their desired outcome. And that's all I have to say about that.
Let's give Doug McGurk a round of applause. Who's excited for Master of Influence? I know I am. This is a course that people have asked for. We don't go out and just throw out random courses. We have better things to do. We create trainings based on desire and goals. What people are saying they want in their lives, we'll go and build a training around that. Hands to camp, you know, that's how you should build your business, right? If your clients are over and over and over coming to you saying, hey, this is an issue, like motivated sellers are constantly saying that they don't have cash. Motivated sellers are constantly saying that they want to be in a different place, or that the roof doesn't work, or they're tired of being in the house, or that there's right 5Ds: death, divorce, denial, drugs, or disease. You go through any one of those five, you keep hearing them solve those problems. If you can solve those problems for a bigger niche. We talk about writing books. Jen is on the call right now. She's a ghostwriter. Imagine being the authority on dealing with denial in the family, or dealing with disease in the family, or dealing with a death in the family, dealing with divorce. If you wrote a book on it, which, by the way, with the help of any one of our coaches, you could easily write a book on any one of these topics, then you hand that to a seller who's going through that problem, or you even just target people who are going through that problem just to help them out. But in the book, the last 3 chapters talk about maybe you have to get rid of some of your assets to move on, to move forward. What would that look like? Hey, we built a company around buying houses. I'm a real estate investor. Maybe I can help you out if you need to. This is NLP through the book. Does that make sense? And if you ever worked with Jen, you understand that I put NLP into the books, into the chapters. I do that to move a person along towards the path that you're looking for. Nobody writes a book to sell a book. You don't make money off of selling the books, I assure you. You make money because the book leads you to the point, right? This book, Broke to $250,000, leads you to the point is not to work, it's to generate income. That's the whole intention behind this book, is to open people's minds. Very much like Rich Dad, Poor Dad does, except his book's 3 times the size and intimidating. Whereas I made mine just the right size where somebody will definitely read it. And for the amount of people I've handed it to, and the amount of people I've handed Rich Dad, Poor Dad to, my book gets read more often because it's easier, it's smaller, it's simpler. Does that make sense? So Master of Influence is a thing that teaches you how to get to that next level. It is, I say, about a year, right? Doug, it's got to be over a year that people have been asking for us to teach them NLP, asking to learn how to influence, asking how to understand this hypnosis thing, and how to do the social media. And for everybody who has been asking me, especially after the summit, I've been getting a lot of requests to learn social media. I will be talking about it at this event. I will go into deep detail, how to master in hacking, like just getting attention, just how to get more followers. In fact, watch my journey. Who's watched my follower count on Facebook over the last 4 weeks? Has anybody noticed it? All right, Darina knows. It has gone from 1,500 followers when I started on September 25th to today. It is November 6th. I hit 4,000 last night. I watched it hit 4,000. I was up. I was texting Darina. She was in New York, so we were texting. I was like, babe, I'm 3 away. 3 away. We were about to hit 4,000. This is nuts. It's insane. There are ways. TikTok, right? Mitch, I was able to get Mitch inspired to get going. Mitch, I know. I checked last night. You're 7 away from 1,000. You got to be there.
I passed it this morning. I passed it.
Let's give Mitch Jorsky a round of applause. 1,000 followers on a platform he's only been on for what, 2 months, Mitch?
Listen. Yeah, it's been like 3 months. Yeah.
3 months.
I gave the people what they wanted. They wanted Shiba Inu posts.
All it takes is do the right things and you will get the success you're looking for. It is very, very simple. And you can do that on any platform in any aspect of life. So, Doug, I'm looking forward to sharing the stage with you on this one. It's going to be epic. Michael Shine, if you can give us your piece of advice on the Keystone Habits.
Hey, thanks, Walter. Well, first of all, I just want to say I'm so grateful for this community because we're, first of all, Walter, you're amazing. And actually, why don't we give Walter a round of applause? He's always asking, but he's just a rock star. And I really feel that way. But what you get, I'm not trying to sell anything here, but what you get with this community is you get a whole bunch of other coaches that just drop amazing knowledge every time. Like when Terry starts talking, or Doug or Darina or Mitch or any of the coaches, it's just so valuable that I haven't been in other groups as many as Walter has been, but I just feel so blessed that we have so many. Christine too. Hi, Christine. It's just very, very valuable. And it's more than just Gwalter, and Gwalter is a ton all by himself. So that's the first thing I want to say. The second thing I want to say is that I love this idea of Keystone Habits, because we said how many people are real estate investors, and a keystone is kind of a construction piece. It's when you build like a bridge, you build the rocks from one side, and then you build the rocks from the other side, and then the keystone is the one stone that is driven right in the middle that holds the whole bridge up. And it's just always blown my mind from an engineering standpoint that this stone holds up the rest of it. And so that's just an amazing concept. So when you think about it as habits, that's huge, especially what Walter was talking about, that businesses have habits. Like we think of like habits like brush your teeth and things like that, but your business has habits. And obviously I would defer to Terry and Christine and Generator Coaching on this one, but that's really what I got out of it. But then I was thinking about this because this is so crazy. Every time you talk about something, Walter, I've been thinking about it this morning. And what I was thinking was that a keystone habit is really another side of something we call the one thing. And it's the one thing that makes everything simpler, easier, or unnecessary to do. So for me, it's kind of like, I have so many things going on. I see myself simplifying, and that's where the keystone habit is. You get that one habit and all other habits follow from that habit. And so this is just an awesome subject, and I love it. And that's what I got out of today. Thank you.
Let's give Mike Shine a round of applause. Very valuable. Christine McGinley, you're up. Bring us your keystone habit suggestion or advice or opinion on these.
Yeah, I think habits or routines or rituals are really important to us as individuals, whether it's health, whether it's financial, or whether it's what you do daily in your business. And I know talking with a bunch of clients and working with teams myself, it's like, okay, how do we install habits, routines for ourselves so we can model for others, our kids, our team, our partners? Like how we show up, it builds just off on last week's wealth principle of like how you do one thing is how you do everything. And I think really going back to the fundamentals of how you start your day, to how you reflect on your day, to how you check in with yourself, are all like those little keystone habits of checking in, how can I do this better, but rejoicing in the things that we did do well. And that goes right to the team as well. It's like when you see your team do something awesome, highlight that, rejoice in it, celebrate it. Don't overdo it so they don't think it's genuine, but really move them forward to what their strengths are, because not everybody is going to be strong in everything. And finding the team members that help supplement those areas where others aren't as strong, or how to inspire them to have that influence that we've been talking about to get that person to the next level so they are stronger players, because that's what everyone wants to be, is someone that's contributing and moving the team forward to reach the mission, the goal, the vision. And so that's what I want you guys to think about, is how are you showing up and how that's influenced your team, your family, your environment, so they can move forward.
Let's give Christine a round of applause. Powerful week, powerful lesson. Awesome.